Hello, friends. Today I would like to share 5 success principles that we can learn from Abraham on wealth creation and general success. And here's why: because in Genesis chapter 13, verse 2, the Bible says that Abraham was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. So, if there's someone that should really inspire your life when it comes to wealth creation, success, and even general productivity in the Bible, then Abraham should be a case study. So let's get into today's video where I'm going to share 5 success principles that we can learn from Abraham on how to succeed when it comes to wealth creation and general success. Before we get to it, if you are new to this channel, remember to subscribe. Remember, our goal is to inspire you. So lesson number 1, success often requires movement before certainty. Well, we all know the story of Abraham. It starts from the book of Genesis chapter 12, where the Bible says that the Lord said to Abraham, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you." Now, this is very crucial because we find that in the Bible, God does not reveal where Abraham is going to. Now, in many instances, it will make sense for you to know where you're going to before you start your journey. But however, when it comes to Abraham's case, he is told to go and he'll be shown later. So, principle number 1, success requires movement before certainty. Or in other words, it requires progress instead of perfection. So one principle of success is progress over perfection. Make sure you are progressing. It is easier to get direction from someone who is already moving, to give directions rather to someone who is already moving, rather than giving direction to someone who hasn't yet started moving. Abraham's journey began when he left the familiar routine, everything familiar. He left the familiar homeland, he left the familiar security and routine to where God directed him to go. Now, I would like to share this on this particular point because many people always love the familiar. They don't want to explore beyond the familiar. However, we learn from Abraham that for you to succeed, more often you will be required to leave the familiar. Many people stay trapped because the particular job feels safe, the environment is familiar, and the risk feels uncomfortable. However, I've come to realize that if you are a Bible-believing Christian, then you should be ready to embrace risk, because throughout the Bible, it is recorded of people of God and how they maneuver risks. And this brings us to another point, which is biblical risks. Now, biblical risks are very different from the general risks that happen in the marketplace and even in the investment forums. In biblical risk, it is a leap into faith. In biblical risk, it is a bit safe because you know that whatever you're doing, God got your back. So from Abraham's case, we can learn that growth usually starts outside comfort zones. Big opportunities rarely appear where nothing changes. Principle number 2, vision over possession. Vision comes first before possession. And we're going to learn this from Abraham. Abraham, when he was told to leave, he was promised. And he held to the promise before it could be fulfilled. So successful people can hold on to vision even when the results are delayed. So this applies to your business, to anything you're doing, studying, building skills, and entrepreneurship. Always hold on to the vision before you possess the results of the vision. This is a principle that is common when it comes to even manifestation techniques, where the manifestation gurus tell you that you should believe you have received and that it's going to happen. So hold on to the vision, hold on to the promise before you actually possess whatever you are promised. So most people quit rather because they expect instant results. And Abraham's story shows that the importance of patience and long-term thinking, that whatever God has promised will come to fruition in the rightful time, in God's time. So Abraham was promised descendants long before he could even see the evidence of any. And this really teaches something. For years, Abraham's reality contradicted the promise. And I can assure you that for some time, your reality may contradict your promise or your expectation of the future. So the present is never the future. However, you can hold on to the promise and work out your way in faith, knowing that when the fullness of time is come, then the promise is going to arrive. So principle number 3 is that success is accompanied by values. So this comes from the fact that Abraham, in all his years and success journey, throughout his journey, Abraham repeatedly built altars and moments of worship, gratitude, and reflection to God. So this is one thing that you should learn, that once success arrives, let it not change your values. Let your values and principles remain the same. Let your devotion to God and your reverence to God remain the same. So modern culture often focuses only on money, status, possessions. But when you see from Abraham's side, you realize one thing, that success should go hand in hand with the values that you receive from the Bible. His life suggests that character and spiritual alignment matter more than accumulation alone. Lesson number 4 is to learn to separate from toxic environments. Now, one major shift in Abraham's life came when he was separated from Lot out of necessity. There had been conflicts between his people and Lot's people, between his workers and Lot's workers, and Abraham saw that there's need to choose peace. And this leads to another point. Avoid negativity. Avoid anything. Avoid conflicts. Avoid negativity. Avoid anything that's going to drain your energy away from your success journey. Avoid people who are going to derail you from your success journey. Avoid people who are going to distract you from your success journey. Sometimes growth requires the following: that you distance yourself from constant negativity, unnecessary conflict, distractions, and people with different priorities. There are many people who would have been better had they stepped away from people who they do not have shared values and shared priorities regarding life, regarding business, regarding wealth, regarding spending, regarding budgeting. And this isn't always about protecting peace, but it's also protecting your direction and your vision. You would rather stay with people who are supportive of your vision than people who conflict your vision. The other lesson that we can learn from Abraham, which is lesson number 5, is that success always involves also giving and helping others. Now, this story is based on Genesis chapter 14, when Lot is captured in some invasion by certain kings of the valleys that had come to fight against the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham took 318 men trained in his household and went and rescued Lot and the other captives that were there. So always, as you plan your success, one biblical principle of success is that let your life, let whatever you're doing be a blessing to others. And that is how you are indeed going to succeed from a biblical point. When you know that there are many people who are dependent upon your success, you're more likely to put in the effort, to put in the attitude, to put in the effort to succeed. So these are the 5 principles that we can learn from the success which Abraham got while on this planet, and which you can also apply to yourself if you are Christian and you are trying to succeed in whatever you are doing.